Hey guys, so now we're up to exercise 4.4. Now 4.4 we are going to split across two lessons. So at the end, on Compass, it'll have the questions I want you to do specifically for today's concept, and then next lesson we'll have the rest of the questions, which is a bit of a different concept. Exercise 4.4 is called matrix multiplication, which has two main concepts. The first one being what's called scalar multiplication. For those of you that did Year 10 Standard, you'll hopefully remember a bit about this, but basically, it's a bit more straightforward than the second concept. Scalar multiplication is where we multiply a matrix by a scalar, which basically means we multiply it by a number, which makes the elements larger or smaller, positive or negative, depending on what we're multiplying by. So scalar multiplication is when we multiply a matrix by a value. Could be a fraction, could be a whole number, could be negative, could be a positive, could be anything. So as an example, we might have the question, three times a given matrix Alright, what we essentially do here is pretty straightforward. Whatever the scalar is, we multiply that to every single element within the matrix. So we go 3 times 2, 3 times 4, 3 times -1, 3 times 3. So the actual values will change, but their positions won't change. The order of the matrix will remain the same. So because this is a 2 by 2, it's going to stay as a 2 by 2. So our final answer (3 times 2 being 6, 3 times 4 being 12, 3 times -1, -3, 3 times 3 being 9. And that's our answer. So scalar multiplication is just where we multiply any matrix by a value. Can get a little bit more tricky than that. I will just make a note about what I said there. The value outside the matrix gets multiplied to everything inside the matrix. I'm going to continue up here. Let's say we've got a few matrices and they're defined as different things. So here we've got 3 different matrices, defined as A, B, and C. Alright, so what we might have is a series of questions that ask us to do different things with them. Alright, 2A, it's like in algebra, 2A means 2 times A, alright? So if you have something like that, it means, alright, matrix A multiplied by 2, which we'll solve in a moment. We could also have something like a half B, meaning matrix B gets multiplied by a half. Once it steps up a little bit, not necessarily hard, but it can be a bit more tedious when we have questions like this. All right, we have 3A plus 2C. All right, we'll talk about that when we get up to it. All right, so 2A, pretty straightforward. Take matrix A, multiply all the elements by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times -8, 2 times 4, and 2 times 1. And that's our answer. Again, question B, pretty straightforward. Alright, so half times all the elements within B, Doesn't matter if you write your answer as a fraction or a decimal, doesn't matter. So half times 11 is 5.5 or 5.5, depending on how you want to write it. 4.5 and 1.5. Now with the last one, we're going to have a couple of steps. The important thing is that it's like with your normal big maths. We're going to multiply these matrices by their scalar first, then we're going to add them together. All right. So, firstly, 3 times A, 3 times each of those elements. And then 2 times matrix C, so times each of those elements by 2. Alright, leaves us with that. And then there's just one more step there to add those 2 matrices together. 6 plus negative 8 being negative 2. Negative 24 plus 12 is negative 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 3 plus 10 is 13. Scalar multiplication can be done on a CAS, so for example, you could save each of your matrices as their letter, so type that in, save it as A, B and C, and then you could simply type something like that in 3A plus 2C, it would give you your answer. So that's all we're going to do for today's lesson. The rest of 4.4 we'll do next lesson. In the Compass plan, I'll have the questions I want you to do about this. And as per usual, make sure you're posting in the Google Classroom if you've got any questions.